Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome to the United Stand. I'm joined by Incy this morning. He's got a smile on his face. He's got lots to talk about. It was I've been a bit sarcastic, Paul, because we're just saying there it's a bit of a crap weekend all round. You like your golf, you like your boxing, you like United, and none of them won.
No, morning, guys. I mean, it's absolute. You kind of look back maybe last week and you think, right, this weekend it's going to be an amazing weekend. We've got the Ryder Cup starting on Friday. AJ's fighting at Tottenham on Saturday. And you got United. It's a wonderful weekend. I sit here this morning thinking, what a shit weekend that was. Absolutely.
Tell us about it.
Crap. AJ getting beat absolutely killed me. United getting beat, and obviously the Ryder Cup was. It's just like even after Saturday, you're kind of thinking the Ryder Cup. Right, let's try and make it close. At least I can sit down all yesterday afternoon and watch it. And it was just horrendous. I turned it off after 2 hours. I just couldn't watch it anymore. The Yanks and cheering and all that. Like I had to turn it off.
They like to win it. Bringing it back to United, we're going to talk a bit about Sancho this morning because his previous chief executive has been quoted as saying it hurts him not seeing him play. This is another player that United have bought from another club that really loved that player, reluctantly let Sancho go for a big fee. He's not playing. Same thing happened. I remember Van der Sar saying about Donny, look after him. He's a really good player, and we haven't looked after him at all. It's heading that same way with Sancho. We'll talk about that. But first of all, let's talk about the game at the weekend. What was your thoughts on that? Because it feels like, it's funny, we did Drive McGoldbridge last week and we were talking about punditry and everything. And we were saying that it feels a bit like Solskjaer's getting protected. But I even heard Gary Neville last night saying it's moments. I don't see a style of play. He's relying on moments. And we've been speaking about that. The chat have been talking about this for months. What is the style of play? And again, you fall foul of a team that's got nowhere near the quality we have, but played a style of football and deservedly won, I felt. I don't know about you.
Oh, listen, without a doubt. I mean, to be fair, Target should have scored in the first half. He had a great chance. Solly Watkins had another fantastic chance after a mistake by Maguire. But I was just looking at the team and just looking at the players' body language. Forget about the result, forget the performance. Just the body language kind of hit home to me. They didn't seem happy. There wasn't one player, who didn't seem, even the way they were going about their business, their demeanour. It's like her head was down, and it's like they had the world upon their shoulders. It's like we had 11 Martials out there. That's what it felt like to me. If you actually watched the language in their eyes, and it's just like watching Harry Kane yesterday, against Arsenal. Its body language didn't seem right, and I kind of sensed that with United. It wasn't just one or two. It was like the majority of the team. They didn't look happy, and if you kind of take out maybe one or two games, the performances since the start of the season. Okay, we'll give you the Leeds game, but Leeds was like the perfect storm. First home game, the way Leeds played. We haven't really played well. There's not one performance really where you can go, yeah, that's us. That's what we're all about. But take away the Leeds game, I'll give you that. But if you go back to Southampton, you go back to Wolves, West Ham, little spurts we're playing okay, little phases. We're like a phase team. We're playing well in little phases of the game, 15, 20-minute phases. But there's no game where we can say we will bang on it. We will bang on it the whole game. And it has to be a concern. That really has to be a concern. And, when you were talking about Villa coming to Old Trafford and they deserve to win, there's a problem. There's a problem. We spoke about this before, Marky, about, listen, United fans will accept getting beat. At home, away, it doesn't really matter. But as long as we come away with saying, well, we should have had 5 or 6 chances, we should have won that game by 3 or 4. It's just one of those days. We're getting too many of those. One of those days. We're not performing well at the moment, and I don't know. As I said, I don't know. We spoke about this last week. How are we trying to play? Are we talking about just game changers? It's just a team of just teams that don't play to any system. Don't play any particular way, but just like top players, throw them out on the pitch. Where you go, something happens, it happens. and we get a result, then we look great. But how are we trying to play baffles me.
Well, look, Rio Ferdinand, Gary Neville, these people haven't really coached. I know Gary did it a bit at Valencia, but they've not coached. You have coached. Roy Keane's coached. We haven't got Roy Keane here. We've got Paul Ince. I look at that team. We've spoken about it. We haven't just got McTominay and Fred. We don't have to put Paul Pogba on the wing. He's got Matic. He's got Van der Beek. He's putting Paul Pogba on the wing. He's benching his number one £74 million signing. As an ex-coach, as an ex-United player, as somebody who watches football, explain to us what you think he's doing when he buys a £74 million player, and you're struggling at home, and he's a creative player, and he's not even getting a minute, and he's picking that same midfield, and he's benching people like Matic and Van der Beek, and he's shivving Paul Pogba on the wing. United fans are getting very fed up with this now, and he keeps doing it week in, week out. What do you think he's actually thinking?
Well, listen, I think you'll always kind of, as a manager, and this is what we said before, Marky, when you start bringing all these players into the club, you now got options. You've now got decisions to make. You now got to try and make so many people happy. And you also got to think about Champions League in the week. Can I play this team against Villa and get away with it? Then we've got a Champions League game. But at the same token, if you buy a player, you buy a kid from Dortmund who's been outstanding for a period of years, and you're saying come to United, I was saying, as long as I'm playing, I'm not coming to United to sit on the bench. And I kind of looked at this way and I thought, hang about, why would Sancho really come to United? As an agent, I'd say, listen, is he going to play? Because I know Greenwood plays on the right-hand side. I know you've got Rashford coming back. Is this kid going to play? Because otherwise he might as well stay at Dortmund. So there must have been that guarantee he's going to play. Listen, Ollie could turn around and say, listen, he needs time to embed himself. Which I get. Is that he's still only young. I said, when I first came to United in 89, 90, I didn't go straight into the team and play week in and week out. It took me time to get to know the Man United way and what the expectations of Man United fans were, and the status of Manchester United. Maybe it's one of those, but this is different.
Do you think that's a bit of? I heard Ollie say exactly that. Sorry to interrupt, but I heard Ollie say that. He said, he's a young lad. He's got to get used to our training, our style of play in the club. And I'm like, he's played Champions League football more than United have in the last 3 years. Like, he's not. He's not Paul Ince, 18, 19, whatever, coming in from West Ham, who's never played a massive club like that or Champions League football. He's acting like he's a bloody, wet behind the ears youth player from Stoke. It's Jadon Sancho. He's £74 million. And also, what style of play? At Dortmund, they had a style of play. All you got to do is, we don't do any triangles, mate. We just hit teams on the Blake and rely on a moment of brilliance. I mean, it's not like there's any in-depth tactics that we see that he's got to get. He's not going to Klopp, has he, or Pep? There's not. I can't see the adjustment really. I just think I worry about it. I do, to be honest.
Listen, I don't think I worry about is obviously the fact that Greenwood likes to play on the right-hand side. You're absolutely spot on, Marky, when you talk about he's played enough Champions League. He's kind of very experienced for a young man. What I'd worry about is that even when he does play, he plays on the left-hand side. Yeah. He's always played for Dortmund on the right-hand side, always. And we're putting players out of position. This is the problem for me. I mean, you kind of think about how many times, did we get crosses into the box against Villa? How many times did you see Wan-Bissaka go to overlap or go down the line and put a box in for Ronnie to header? How many headers did Ronnie have on Saturday? Ronnie was non-existent.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Pogba was non-existent. Fernandes was non-existent, more or less, apart from one pass to Greenwood and the penalty. These players were non-existent. Every time a chance we had was either from a corner or something dropped down to someone, like that Pogba header that just went past the post. There was nothing like bang, 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 open teams up. You know what I mean? 1 or 2, 3, 2 touch, 4 touch, 4, 5-man moves, and get. There was nothing like that, and I can't remember the last time we've seen that. I watched City Chelsea the other day. But just the way they play football is on a different level. Even Brentford, Saturday night. I think, this team is playing better football than Manchester United. I know what Brentford are trying to do. I see what they're playing: exciting, attacking, expensive football. You know, you're right. We
Fast tempo, yeah.
fast tempo. You know, risk passes. As soon as it goes in behind the gaps, they're off and they're going forward and they're trying to score goals. You're absolutely spot on. We kind of think, well, let's just.
Just a minute. Here's one. People are going to love this.
Mm.
When you played at Man United,
Yeah.
you've played under Sir Alex Ferguson. This is the thing, right? We don't know what Ollie's style of play is. If you could explain what Sir Alex Ferguson, take as many sentences as you like, but what did he want you to do as a team? Because Ollie said the other day, the United way is most of our goals are individualistic, if you look over the last 30 years, and counter-attack. And I just nearly spat my coffee out. I went, I don't think that's what United's way is. But I thought, I know what, I'll ask Paul Ince when he comes on, because he played under Sir Alex. What was the style of play? Because, well, it's your platform. Go on.
I think that when you think about it, I think it was so easy for us, in those times, because we played a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
It was 4-4-1-1, whether it's Cantona or Mark Hughes, Giggsy left, Beckham or Konchelsky's, so we kind of knew our jobs. But it was get the ball. How many times did we see Peter Schmeichel get it and go bang, and we'd be off, and it'd be like 1 and 2 touch, get it out wide to Giggsy. He beat someone, get it in the box. We'd back up the play, have phases of attacks, and keep putting pressure and pressure and pressure. Like we did against Sheffield Wednesday when Brucey scored 2 goals. It was constant pressure. Teams could never get out, and eventually we'd find the 1 or 2 weak ones of the opposition and we'd win the game. But football's not changed. And people think football's changed. It hasn't. It's still the same pitch, the same flags, the same fans. It hasn't changed. You get it, you pass it, you move. That was the making up way. When you go attack, you attack it with numbers, and you keep it in there, and then you regain the ball, and you go back in again. On Saturday, the amount of times the gap between the defence and the 2 midfield players was horrendous. There was one situation where Villa were attacking, and there was no midfield. And I'm watching Fred and McTominay try to run back, and I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? What the hell was going on? So, it was easy for us. We had one holding midfield player and the rest of the attack, whether it's the 4 up front, Giggsy, Konchelsky's, the 2 strikers, might be a Keane, might be a Robson, so we overloaded those areas. But
that never changed, did it? Because even 10 years after you've gone, Michael Carrick comes in 2006, 11 years after you've left, and sits in old midfield for 10 years. Well, not quite 10 years, but you know what I mean? It was a back 4 with full-backs bombing forward, 2 good centre-backs, holding midfielder, swamp them, risk take. If you score 3, we had a good defence. So it wasn't like you score 3, we'll score 4. But Ollie's not a risk taker. He's the opposite. He seems to be the other way. Let's nick a goal. And how many games do we nick a goal? Or even the game on Saturday, I wouldn't be surprised if we'd won that game 1-0. No. Last year we would have won 1-0.
No, you're right. And I think from day dot, when Ollie took over, that was always going to be his plan, wasn't it? To try and counter-attack teams. That was it. I've not seen a change in the way United play. As I said, apart from the Leeds game to start the season, we've got this kind of identity to sit deep. When we get it, we're off. You can't do that against the lesser teams. You have to take the game towards them. And it seems that teams are not scared of United anymore. And this is something that's always concerned me. United used to have a presence. When you walked into the Theatre of Dreams, you used to think, oh, wow, don't fancy this. When you used to line up down the tunnel, we used to have teams beat before we went on the pitch. Yeah. Nowadays, teams are going to Old Trafford thinking, we can get something here. We can nick something.
They're so expressive, aren't they? Look, I thought in the second half, first half was whatever. Second half, a lot of people were saying in the chat, oh, it will be second half FC. First 10 minutes, you're like, we're even worse. Villa were swamping us. It was like, Dean Smith's gone, we can beat these. We're thinking United are going to come out second half. And Villa have obviously been told, we can beat these. Go get at them. And they did. And then Ollie didn't change it till 81 minutes. He brings Cavani on, which I thought was the wrong sub, but, too late anyway.
Yeah, listen, and that's right. And we forget, Villa are a good side. But they've only just been promoted from the Championship, a couple of years ago. Yeah. They are a really good side, and to go to Old Trafford and look comfortable, and look. Listen, let's not be mistaken. It could have been a lot more. You know, let's not get carried away. Let's go back to the West Ham game on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup or Tuesday, whatever it was. You know, West Ham could have scored 3 or 4. You know, just not be mistaken about that. We are not defending well, and I think when we go a goal down, we look like we're all over the place. You know, sometimes as a manager, I think if we ever go a goal down, I say, listen, lads, if we go down, don't go chasing. Just bide your time. Keep doing the same things that we're doing, and get a feed our way back into the game. When United go a goal down, they either score or they can get beat 4 or 5. You know, and then Dawson Villa started hit the United on the counter attack. But just the whole, I can sense that there's gonna be issues now. And we said it before the start. You know what I mean? That there's a lot of egos now. There's a lot of players who want to play. Cavani's back in. You know, he's going to want to play games. Sancho's not playing. Donny's not playing. You know, and when Matic, who I thought against West Ham was a bit of a lunatic, to be honest, but I thought he should have been sent off.
Yeah, I remember you said, yeah.
But I still think he's better than the 2 that are playing at the moment. You know, he
knows better than the 2 playing at the moment, even at your age.
He knows how to play that role, and he plays it well. He knows how to keep the game ticking. And you know, I don't understand why he keeps playing Fred and McTominay.
Do you think that's you know, I was going to say that anyway. You know, you look at that team, the transfer window's closed. We can all be doom and gloom. I personally think he's going to start picking up results because Ollie, when his back's against the wall, he'll start grinding out results. But I don't think I think he'll do it with the same crap football we've seen for the last year. I think he'll stick with McTominay and Fred because they run around a lot. What would you change to that team? You know, a lot of people are saying, yeah, get rid of McTominay and Fred, try Matic and Pogba or Matic and Donny or even Matic and McTominay or something like that. But, you know, break that midfield 2 up, which is clearly a problem. And, you know, stop playing Pogba on the wing and put a proper winger out there. Get Sancho in or, you know, Rashford's back soon. Yeah.
I think you know, when you kind of think about the midfield, I like to see Matic now. You know, whether it's the McTominay or someone else, you know, it can't be Fred. You know, for me, it can't be Fred. And I'm not one of these people like to go at players, you know, but if Donny had as many chances, as many games as Fred, you know, we'd be talking about Donny as a different completely player because he would have had chances to show what he can do. And don't tell me Donny can't run around. I understand Matic is not the quickest, but his sense of where to be on the pitch, you know, where, you know, how to break attacks up, you know, how to protect the back 2 centre halves. He's done that all his life, you know. And yeah, we always said at the start of the season, the centre midfield position was a priority, not the right wing, not trying to get Trippier in as a right back. The centre midfield was a priority, and we've never done anything about it. And this is why every time we sit down in the morning, we talk about the midfield, because we haven't got enough in midfield to go and win the title. I don't feel so. You know, you try and match with McTominay. It's all about partnerships. Now we know the partnership between Fred and McTominay is not as good as it should be. So what you do as a manager? Well, let me try Matic with McTominay. Let me try and switch it back. Let me try Matic with Donny. Let me just try something where we can find that kind of blend between the 2 of them. But we're not even trying that. We're going, no, Fred, McTominay, that's it. Carstein, they're playing.
Still been manager.
That's not managing. Managing is finding the right solutions in the middle of the park. Because he must know, Carrick must know, Mickey Fillings played in midfield. They must know there's a problem in the area of the park. They must know the problem, there's 2 open. Whether they're not. If I watch that game on Saturday, I'll be in this morning and saying, listen, I'll be showing clips saying, this can't happen. We can't be this open. We can't have the gap between the back 4 and our 2 midfield players this big when Villa break. Where is the holding midfield player? Who is the holding midfield player?
Yeah.
You know, why are we running back and De Silva's running past us, which he was? You think that's the type of stuff that I don't know whether they do that. I don't know whether it's like, listen, let's when we go to the next one, go back into training. I don't know. But they need to do a lot more, because what I see on Saturday with that midfield, especially the 2 central players, they're not playing as their positions and taking their responsibilities. So I would switch it up. I'll phone a Matic and Donny. Try something different. You know, we know Ronaldo's going to play. We know Bruno's going to. The problem you have now is that obviously Pogba's not a holding midfield player. We saw that against Wolves, you know, a couple of weeks back. But when Pogba was playing well at the start, everyone was going bananas. All of a sudden, he's gone the other way. Now, is that Pogba, or is that where he's what the position that he's playing in? You know, this
Well,
is
it's the same old thing as you mentioned it about Ronaldo, didn't you? And you know, ultimately, if you're one of those attacking forwards for United, there's a chance you're going to have a bad game, whether you're in good form or not, because you're not going to get the ball quick enough to use the space that you would at Liverpool or a Man City. Because of those two midfielders who just can't get the ball forward like you would have, or Keane would have, Carrick would have, Scholes would.
Yeah, I get that, but why have we gone from? It's funny though, isn't it? Because 3 weeks ago we were talking, Pogba might be signing a new contract, everything's looking good, and now Pogba's kind of not playing how he was before, and it's not even mentioned. And this is the problem when you see the way United play, and Pogba. If Pogba's not playing well, when he's not playing in the role that he wants to play in, and the way that he wants to play, then there's no chance of him signing a contract.
No.
No. I'll tell you that now. But Ollie's got a lot of choices to make. Ollie's got to find a settled team. Ollie's got to find a team that's going to play week in and week out. Yes, I know they've got a lot of games X, Y, and Z, but you have to find a settled team. You have to have that chemistry.
You know what, though, Paul? I was going to ask you that. And again, how would you deal with this? Because ultimately, what the press is around United. You know what the fans are like around United. I mean, look at how many people we have watching our shows. And if he suddenly went like Ronaldo, Bruno, Rashford, Sancho, Pogba, McTominay, and then the back five we know pretty much anyway. He's then, and they do well, he's then benching Cavani, Greenwood, Lingard, McTominay, Fred, Lindelof, all these. He's got too many players, which is all right when you're Man City and you're playing well, but we're not playing well, and he's got too many options. It worries me because I think, Ollie's about fairness. Somebody said he might play Henderson on Wednesday out of fairness, even though De Gea's playing well. And it's like, he's a bit of a, he was a bit like that at Cardiff, apparently. He's a bit of a tinker man with his team. And you don't want to be doing that when you haven't got a settled 11, like you say, and we need to win games. It's another problem in the road, I think. But you might think differently.
No. I agree with you to a certain extent. But I also think when you mention those players and you mention that first 11, I think the only one who has to play is probably Greenwood. I think Lindelof's never going to play instead of Varane. Lingard, no disrespect. Let's not get over the top. We have tried to sell him to West Ham. If the fee would have been right, he would have gone. It was only because he scored a worldie against West Ham. Everyone was talking about Jesse Lingard, but it was never not Ollie's plans from last season. So Cavani's on the wrong side of 30. He knows where he is. He knows where he's at. So all these players are not players where you think, well, it's not like a Paul Ince situation where, bloody, I've got Paul Scholes biting at my heels. He was a world-class player. It's not like that. I think if he gets his 11 and sticks by it, listen, he might be able to just maybe change one or two, maybe in defence, but don't tinker with the front line. How often do Liverpool tinker with the front line? They don't. Chelsea, they always play the same players. You can't keep messing about because you never get that fluidity if you keep swapping and changing players, trying to make, as you said last week, everybody happy. As a manager, you can't make everybody happy. Okay, you just got to go with what you say. This is the team. This is my first 11. Someone gets injured, he comes in. Someone's had a couple of bad games, he comes in. You keep swapping and changing it. You always get that inconsistency, and that's the word we've been talking about for the last month. Inconsistency. Go with your top team. Go with your best team.
What if Ollie was on the show now and he goes, Paul, I am playing my best team. That was it on Saturday. Rashford comes in and I've got a decision to make, but that's my best team. And that, there'll be a lot of people who said, well, look, we all talk about we want to see a United style of play. We all talk about we want to see a different midfield. But ultimately, none of us are the manager. Ollie's the manager. He does consistently pick McTominay and Fred in there. And he does consistently play this, basically, he must have pictures of Boris Johnson on his wall because he's conservative, isn't he? He's conservative in the way that he plays football. And maybe, what if that is it, though? We all think, oh, he's got to do this, he's got to do that. What if he's saying, well, this is just how I want to play? And that's it.
But if that's his best team, why is he going out and spend £74 million on Sancho? Because he's not starting. If that's his best team. As you said, we've got Rashford to come back. Who opts out then? If Sancho comes in, Greenwood goes out, then United's best team's not without Greenwood. Greenwood seems the only shining light at the moment. He's the one who seems to really, really fancies it.
Yeah, I like him.
So, you know, and the thing is, you're right, it might be his best team, but I think to the fans, and maybe to the ex-players, you know, it doesn't look like his best team. They don't play like it's his best team.
Would it make any sense to you, just while it's in my head? A lot of people say, well, Pogba's obviously playing on the left until Rashford come back, and then he comes into the midfield. I mean, look, you think about the team that you played in. If Giggs is injured, do you put Paul Ince on the left wing and bring in Nicky Butt because, you know, Giggs is injured? You wouldn't take one of your key midfielders in the key area of the pitch to put him on the left wing. No. And also, you could play Sancho and still... It doesn't look like... A lot of people think Pogba's coming back in the midfield, but I'd go again. If Pogba's the midfielder first choice, you don't need to put him on the left wing because you've got Sancho, Martial. Left wing doesn't get the ball as much as the midfielder. So you'd always put your best player in the midfield. You wouldn't move him out of the way. No,
listen, I think you're absolutely spot on. And I think it was different when Pogba was at Juventus when they played a 3-5-2 system. It suited him. He wasn't at left wing, but he was allowed to roam on that left...
Sort of like left midfielder, wasn't he? Yeah.
Field area. And if you're buying players, and I was as a manager, and it winds me up sometimes. In fact, it does wind me up. So sometimes you buy a player because you've seen him over the last 2 years and you think, wow, he's unbelievable in this position. And then you bring him to your club and you play him in a completely different position, in a different way.
Why matter?
I don't honestly, Mark, I do not get why people do it, why managers do it. You know, it baffles me. You know, Sancho, I'm trying to revert back to Sancho. He's been outstanding for Dortmund on the right. We play him on the left. Doesn't make sense. You know, and look, managers do it. And I just think, when you think about people like Pogba, he has to be involved. He has to be on the ball. He has to be, like Bruno, they have to be on the ball. You have to get your best ball players on the ball. You know, not stuffed out on the left-hand side. And this is what Ollie's got to deal with, because these players are big players. They're big characters. They've got big egos. If they ain't happy and they're not playing the way they want to play in the position they want to play, it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem. Then you start getting the little clicks. And yeah, I know from speaking to people that Pogba's got a big saying that in the change room. He's one of the big dogs in there. You know what I mean? So if he ain't happy, it could be very infectious, you know, and that's where you need people in the change room who can control that, you know, that type of environment. But I agree with you. Pogba has to play where you're going to get the best out of him. Sancho has to play where you're going to get the best out of him, you know. And you know, I'm not sure, you know, what we're going to do, how we're going to play. I said to you before, how we're going to. I don't know what's going to happen with United. I don't know whether we're going to play well, whether we're not going to play well, whether we're going to ponce the result, or whether we're going to win comfortably. But that's down to Ollie and the staff. We keep saying it's down to the staff. You know, we've been talking about the identity for the last 2-3 years. You know, even 4 or 5 years. No, it's not just Ollie.
Yeah, you're right. It's been going on long before Ollie as well. But this is his responsibility, isn't it? Yeah, it's been, you know, it's Marino Van Gaal. You know, it goes back a long, long time, 7-8 years. This, and you know, we hope Ollie's the one who's going to take us out of this kind of, you know, counter-attacking, sit deep team. You know, but it doesn't look like it. You know, we can't be fighting to open up, you know, against teams. If you're playing Villa and you're going, right, man to man, we are better than them. Now, after Saturday, I'm not sure I'll be saying that. I'm not sure I'll be saying that. You know, we should be, though. What you're saying is right. You know, I said this after the game. That to be, you know, Ollie said it would be a great game for the neutrals. Sometimes I think he should just engage his brain before he opens it. You know, you can't say that after losing to Villa at home. Who gives a shit about a great game for the neutrals? But the point is, it shouldn't be a great game for the neutrals when you look at it 1-11. And therefore, you look at the coach and go, well, if Villa have just beaten us and deserve to beat us, with the players we've got, it has to be on the... Some people wanted to blame the players on Saturday. And of course, the players, you know, you look at Harry Kane yesterday, but yeah, ultimately, it always comes down to the coach, doesn't it? If you're not getting the best out of the players, you drop them, you try other players, and it's not acceptable where we are at the moment.
Well, listen, I think, you know, as much as it's doom and gloom, we're still up there.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
that's all the problems that we've got at United. You know, we're still up there. We're still, you know, no one's got away from us. You know, we're probably a point away from the top. You know, we've got a massive game coming up midweek. So we always know, and you just touched on it before, Marky. It's United, it's the biggest club in the world. Anytime you lose a game, you know what's coming. You know the press are going to be onto you. But this is not just about losing the game. This is about finding your best team, finding the best players and putting them in the right position where they can play together. Are we just a team of game changers? You know, and
Moments FC.
yeah, and that's the thing. You know, when you go back, you can go back to Dan James, you know, who played. You know what I mean? And you think, well, we spent how much spent on? Was it £25 million something like that on Dan James?
15 and sold him for nearly double, but he had a lot of chances, didn't he?
He had a lot of chances, you know, and he was only young when he first came in, but he had a lot of chances, more chances than Sancho's had at £74 million.
Yeah, James came in from the Championship.
Yeah.
You know, nothing like the Premier League, and I think he's. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he actually started the first few games. Like, he did under Ollie. So yeah, good point.
Inside, I remember scoring one where he cut inside and it one in the top hand corner. So he started a lot of games. Even before the day before we sold him, he's played.
Yeah,
started. You know, and you know, but Sancho's has not had that. So it's not a case of, well, he's only young, he's got to find himself, you know, because Dan James did exactly the same from the Championship and played more games than Sancho has, you know. So he's got decisions to make. And they need to be the right decision. Listen, as I said, we're up there. We're not playing well. We're still up there challenging at the moment. But the aspirations are actually winning the thing, we're playing the way we are. I'm not sure. We've not had a really tough game yet, so to speak.
No, I agree with that.
You know, West Ham, Wolves, Southampton, you know, Villa, they're not big games. You know, we've got a lot of big games to come up. So I'm hoping we need a game. Sometimes you need, sometimes as a player and as a team, you need a big game. You know, sometimes, you know, you look at the City-Chelsea game, you need a big game as a player just to get yourself going. You know, I don't think Man United even got going yet. And they'll always win games because, I guess you said, Mark, they've got game changers. But as a team collectively, they've not actually got going, where all components of that team have been on top of their game. And sometimes you need a big game, so hopefully that might be the case.
I mean, look, it's interesting. You mentioned the players there. I want to talk about that in a minute. But, you know, I'm going to call them Moments FC for that until it changes, because I think that's what we are. I'd almost look at it now and go, look, I wouldn't say I could manage them. I never played at the highest level. I've never coached. But there must be a lot of managers, you know, your Graham Potters, your Dean Smiths, who look at it and go, I could do better with this set of players. I really could. And that's what I mean. I think it's impossible not to finish in the top four, even if we keep playing this sort of conservative football, because we've got so many good players. You look at how inconsistent teams like Spurs and Arsenal will be. United will get the points to finish in the top four, and therefore I think Ollie will stay in charge. But, you know, are you, in relation to Ollie, do you think he is the right man, or is it like, you know, I wouldn't want to say that at the moment because it's too early?
Well, it's not too early. This is his third season.
Yeah.
You know, not managers, many managers, I think, you know, can get 12 months, most managers. So to have third season at one of the biggest clubs in the world, you know, it's not too early. What you want to see a change in the progress they're making. You want to say, are we taking steps forward? You know, are we back to where we were when we first took over? You know, are we winning trophies? At the moment, we're not winning trophies. Two, our style of play, we don't know what it is. And this is within nearly 3 years of him being in charge. You know, so you forget Mourinho won trophies when he was at United. Yet the style of play wasn't great, but at least he won trophies. You know, we haven't won any trophies yet, and Ollie, and we haven't got no style of play, so to speak. So, you know, finishing the top four is not a successful season for Manchester United. It can't be. Yeah, and I said this last year. You know, we have to be challenging to win the title. This is now Ollie's team. Ollie's got all the players that he's asked for. For some reason, the recruitment team, who I'm not sure they are, but they're not very good in my mind, because we said we needed a midfield player. We said we needed a striker. The Ronaldo situation just came out of the blue. You know, we can never envisage that our seven would come back to Old Trafford. But prior to that, we still should have got an out-and-out striker. You know, and a centre midfield player, and we never done it. So from a recruitment point of view, I'm not sure where they're at. I'm not sure what they're trying to do. So there's a lot more questions than there are answers with Manchester United and Ollie. You know, can we go back to this boot room kind of theory where he's got all his mates around him? You know, is that the way forward? You know,
Do you think he can win? You know, Gary Neville's basically said, I don't see that team being able to win the league because Liverpool and Man City and Chelsea have a system and they play to that system. And basically, Ollie doesn't, and he's relying on moments. And I want him to be successful. I love Ollie. I want him to do well. But, you know, I've got to be honest, I don't think they can win the league. If he can't win the league with that team, yeah, what are we going to do next year? Give him another 100 million for Declan Rice, another 100 million for someone else? I mean, he should be winning the league with that team. Do you agree with that? And do you think ultimately Gary Neville's right about that it's not going to happen really?
You know what? If I kind of think back to this, and I've got, you know, and I kind of look at it, I think, should he be winning the league with that team? My answer is no. That's
Why is that?
And I'll tell you what. Listen, and he's had a lot of money to spend. Okay, but if you were to take, if Ronaldo hadn't come this season, all right, would you have said that we should be winning the league with that team?
No, I said third. I still say third.
Exactly. So what has changed because Ronaldo's there?
But I think it's because I predict third because of the coaching. I don't think it's not because of the team. Yeah. I can't envisage that coaching setup winning as the league. Now, if you gave us a clock with that team, obviously I'd have to see it over 10 games because it might not. But to win a league, you've got to have a Sir Alex and you've got to have the evidence, haven't you? Like when Mourinho came in, I went, Mourinho's first summer, he bought Pogba, Zlatan, Mkhitaryan, Bailly. And I actually thought we might win the league because he has won the league.
Yeah.
And obviously I figured out quite quickly he wasn't going to win the league. But yeah, I don't think Ollie can win the league with those coaches. I think the coaching is the issue. I think we've got good enough players, but we've never seen the evidence of it.
No, and to be fair, I've kind of been in some clubs, you know what I mean, or been party to some clubs where the manager's not really got the nails to change the team and have a template to how the team want to play, but just try and bring in the best players to kind of cover that up, if that makes sense, you know? I've seen it before in my experience. But if you kind of looked at the team, you know, and you think, well, why is that team convincing you that they should win the title? All right. If I said to you now, Mark, right, name your best 11 Premier League players at the moment who should be in the best 11. How many United players would be in it? Ask that question. How many United players would be in the best Premier League team now from the start of the season to now? Wouldn't be many, would there?
3.
What three would they?
Well, definitely De Gea.
Instead of Ederson or Ederson?
De Gea.
Okay,
I think he's brilliant at the moment. I think De Gea's brilliant at the moment.
Okay.
I do think Varane is one of the best centre-backs in the league. I'd take him over a Diaz. I'd play him with Van Dijk. I think Van Dijk and Varane would be brilliant. And I think Ronaldo's the best number 9 in the league.
Jury's out, but Lukaku? What was that?
Yeah.
It's the question I'm saying. We've not even mentioned Bruno. We've mentioned Pogba. You know what I mean? We've not mentioned Sancho. We've not mentioned Greenwood.
Well, they're not playing to the best. They should be there, but they're not there. Yeah.
You know, normally you'll have 4 or 5 players. You go, yep, he should be in. Pogba should be in. Fernandes should
Luke Shaw should be in.
Luke Shaw should be in. But it's hard to actually get players to make nights think they should be in the best 11 at this moment of time. There's better players. What convinces people that this team should win the title doesn't convince me. You know, you said if you put Ronaldo over it, they'd be lucky they finish in the top 4. Ronaldo's a game changer. Ronaldo's not the Ronaldo of 12 years ago. You know, but if you get the ball to him, he didn't have a sniff Saturday. He didn't have a sniff. You know. Go on. Well,
I was going to say, there was something you said at the start of the video that was quite interesting about, you know, it looked like the players were playing a bit like, you know, Martial's played. And I think Martial's played like that because the number 9 shirt's a bloody pain in the arse for United. But, you know, a lot of players were playing like that. I thought Harry Maguire didn't look his normal self. Luke Shaw's not looked himself. Bruno's looked frustrated all season. Greenwood's ridiculously greedy, won't pass to anyone. Pogba's not in the game. Why do you think the players are like that? Because their last game was a win against West Ham. They didn't play in the Carabao Cup. All I hear is, and obviously you will hear things as well, all I hear is that the players love Ollie, you know, it's a really happy environment. But do you think that that players will start to get, you know, frustrated, or do you think that the camaraderie in that club is just 2 mates rates and everyone's really happy?
Listen, the players will love Ollie, and they love the staff and everything goes with it, because basically they can do what they want. Basically, there's no demands on them, you know. And it's like anything, you know. If you're playing and you're doing what you want, you know, you're enjoying training. As an ex-player, no, that was great. We're going in today. We're gonna have a nice little time. We're gonna, you know, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna sit down and have a laugh. You know, that's when you love a manager. You know, I bet if Conte had gone into, you know, the players were going, hey, Conte, we're doing double sessions, we're doing this, you know, yeah, but on the back of it, you'll be winning titles and winning Champions Leagues. And that's what players are like, you know. So, of course, like, you're going to hear, oh, we love Ollie. Yeah, because you're kind of doing what you want. The players are kind of running the show, so to speak, you know, and that's what you see when you see them on the pitch. They're playing how they want to play. They're playing individualistic. You know, you're right with Greenwood. As much as I love Greenwood, I think he's going to be a world-class player. You know, at times he's not making the right passes. He's being selfish. Why is no one not pulling him? You know, these are the things that... And the Man United way is not just about the football way. Okay, that's what people got to understand. The Man United way is about demands you put on your teammates when they might make the wrong decisions. Let them know about it, because they won't do it again. It's all combined into one. It's not just about, oh, we got to play from the back. It's about the demand you put on your players in training from a team point of view. You know, that's the demand you put on your players. Greenwood won't be able to get away with that on Saturday when he could have slotted people in. You know, the body language of some of the players wouldn't have got away with it in our time, because they'd have been told that they can't get away with it. And if that's the way you're going to be, you're not going to be in the side. And Fergie will recognise that. He will see that. So Fergie won't stand for that. You know, there's been times where he's absolutely lambasted me, you know, for not making the right pass or trying to shoot from 30 yards. And I thought, oh, you know, whether I'm right or wrong, you know, if you don't do it again, and you make the right decisions, because the best players or the greatest players, 9 times out of 10, make the right decisions and execute it at the right time. You know, I ain't doing that, you know. So, yeah, identity, yeah, but there's a lot more in it about how you demand from each other as a player and as a team. You don't see that at United. It's okay to have a shot from 35 yards when someone in. No one says a dicky bird. No one says absolutely nothing. You know, I think the only time I think Solskjaer was ever going was having the guys when he had that bad back pass. But even that wasn't much. You know, if it had been Schmeichel, we'd have got him by the neck and threw him in the stands. But thanks, yeah. Listen, I know times have changed, but times haven't changed, because we see Klopp do it. You know, I mean, we see Jordan Henderson do it at Liverpool. You know, we see Tuchel do it. There's enough people who do it. But at United, we seem to be a kind of soft-centre team where it's all nicey and...
Well, that's why we don't win anything, Paul. That's why we bottle finals and semi-finals, because ultimately we're good individuals, but there's no leadership, there's no fight, there's no passion, and it comes from Carrick, it comes from Ollie, it comes from the players. They lack leadership. It's all a big high five bounce back. I mean, I don't know what you think. I'm so fed up of losing. I mean, we only lost the game last week with the first team. They said exactly the same thing on social media, and they're all at it again. We'll fight back. The one thing about this lot, they'll fight. I mean, Ollie says that. Bruno's bouncing back again. It's like, just bloody, like you say, just start bouncing back on the bloody pitch from minute one and start demanding more of your teammates. It's simple.
Yeah, and it is. And it's do it from a consistent basis, because, as I've said, from day dot when Ollie's been in charge, it's been a roller coaster. It's been 1 minute we're going forward, then we're back down again. Then, you know, and it's the same again this season. But we beat Leeds, you think, oh, this is it, we've got to change, you know. Even being in R7 has not really changed much, because if you don't get the ball to him, he's non-existent. You know,
that scared me the most at the weekend. Actually, I don't know what you think about that. I feared. I remember saying last season, people like get a top striker, and I was like, I don't care if you get Ronaldo, Haaland. There'll be games where they've got nothing to do because we don't create chances for them. We bring Ronaldo in. You think this buzz is going to last forever? Everyone's like, oh, United have got Ronaldo. It's lasted 2 weeks. It took us 2 weeks to show the world that we can silence Ronaldo in the number 9 shirt. But many United fans, put your hands on your heart. You knew it was going to happen, because we've done it with Cavani, we've done it with Martial. Of course you can do it with Ronaldo, because he can't grab the ball off the back 4, run past 10 players and score a goal. He needs service, and then you'll see his quality. But if you ain't got service, we've silenced that Ronaldo deal already.
Yeah, and the fact is, as you saw on Saturday, that because he wasn't getting any service, he started coming deeper and deeper. He started going out on the wings to try and get a touch of the ball. And we said we don't want him there. We want him between the goalpost. And how are we going to get that ball in that box for Ronaldo? You know, whether it's by cross, whether it's by 1 or 2 touch, you know, because if you get it in there, he will score your goals. And it's not just from corner kicks. We have to kind of have a style where we can get that ball into it, where we can create attacks, where we can get him to score goals. I don't see that. I just think, well, if we're just playing from an individual point of view, and unless the ball goes to Ronaldo's feet by a set piece, he'll score. But if we're not playing from a team point of view, where we're going pop into midfield, as he goes in, you go out here, you go in here, we get it wide, he comes in, bang, goal. What are we doing? I don't know. What are we doing? You know, I don't see United score team goals. I really don't. I see a wonderful ball from Fernandes, maybe into Pogba or whatever it may be, and then we score a goal. So a wonderful free kick, a wonderful pass from Fernandes into Ronaldo, like we saw the other week. But I don't see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 touch goal. I don't see the City goals. I don't see the Liverpool goals. I don't see the Brentford goals. You know, I'm even throwing Brentford into the mix. You know, just come up. You know,
We're going down again soon, don't we?
Yeah, they will do. But I'll tell you what, you know, they go down playing a style and an identity that's never changed.
Yeah.
We get from Van Gaal, from Mourinho to Ollie now, not got the style the Man United way, as we keep saying, the Man United way.
You've forgotten that bet already, haven't you?
What bet?
You forgot about it. It's all right.
I must be winning, mustn't I?
We had a bet last week. You said Brentford staying up. You said they're staying up, and I said they're going down.
Yeah, we did have a bet. Charity bet. £500 it was to our charity. I'm telling you now, Brentford will stay up. People need to be more concerned about Man United, Marky.
We do need to be more, but I'm just trying to bring a bit of comedy and, you know, a bit of banter, because it's like, you know, it's all doom and gloom. But I tell you what, from here, we've got Villarreal. We'll wrap up on this. We've got Villarreal, Everton before the international break. Then we come back. We've got Leicester, Atalanta, Liverpool. I think Spurs are in there. Oof. I'm saying right here now.
Yeah.
I've seen this. Everyone thinks it's going to get worse. We're going to grind out victories, 1-0s, 2-1s over the next till mid-November, and everyone will go, Ollie's back at the wheel, but I guarantee you the football won't be good. That's what I'm predicting is going to happen. I think we're going to start winning again. Do you think that's not going to happen? Do you think this might be more of a problem than that now?
I can see where you're coming from. I'm just kind of waiting for United to click. You know, people say to me, "Oh well, you know, it's a good sign when the team's not playing well and picking results up." You know, we ain't picking results up. We are picking results up every now and then, but we're not picking results up from a consistency point of view. We've always had this kind of thing where Ollie's been under pressure, that he bounces back and he goes on a little run, 2 or 3, 4 games on the bounce. Yeah. I'm hoping this is the time. You know, I'm hoping this is the time. It needs to be the time. So not easy fixtures. They're not easy games. You know, Everton are flying. Leicester never easy. Villarreal, good side. You know, Real Madrid in the week, Saturday weekend 0-0. So they're no mugs. You know what I mean? They're no mugs. So nothing's going to change with the management. As much as people say, well, is Ollie the right man for the job? Nothing's going to change until the end of the season. So until then, let's just, you know, we have to support him. We have to believe that things will change. I hope things will change. I hope the style of football changes.
If it changes that midfield and we start winning, I think everyone will just go, well, we've got a reason to back him properly. I know a lot of people are very pissed off this morning, but if he changes that midfield and we start playing better football, you're going to sit there going, oh, he ain't got a clue Ollie out. You're not. I think everybody from ex-players to fans, they know there needs to be a change. We're waiting for that change. And if he doesn't make that change, I think it will be the long goodbye. And if he does make the change, I think everyone will get behind it.
Yeah, listen, the fans are desperate to get behind Ollie. You know, we all are, because if Ollie's doing well, then Manchester United are doing well. And we all want Manchester United to do well. You know, and sometimes I kind of think to myself, is Ollie the man before the man? You know, I mean, I sometimes have that kind of thing in my head. You know, Ollie's got this season to show what he can do. And whether he does it by playing entertaining football, Ollie will do it his way. At the end of the day, whether we moan or groan or, you know, Ollie would do it his way. Whatever way he knows, he will do it his way. But he has to keep, if he's picking up results, great. If he ain't, then as you said, you know, it could be a tough whole season for Ollie. But fingers crossed that's not the case. Next 4 or 5 weeks will tell us a lot about where we are at United and where we are as a team.
Definitely. Paul, it's been a pleasure as ever.
Likewise, Mark. It was good to see you on a Monday morning.
Yeah, well, we'll have a chat Thursday because that'll have it Thursday morning. That'll be after Villarreal, won't it?
Yeah, after we've won. I think we beat them. To be fair. Especially at home. If it was away, I'll be a bit sceptical, but I think
they will bounce back as well. I mean, one thing about United is there will be an increased effort, but that's not the point, is it? You need it over 10 games, not 2 or 3 bounce back games.
Absolutely spot on, Marky. And this is the thing. One we're crap, and then we're great. Then we're crap, then we're great. You know, we're back, then we're not back. You know, I hate to be a fan because it's the opinions just change every weekend. Yeah. You know, but it's about what you're going to get when you watch Chelsea every week. Same with City, same with Liverpool. With United, we don't know what we're going to get. Until we know what we're going to get on a regular basis, we're always going to be sitting there every week having these conversations.
Legends, Paul Ince, he's on Instagram, he's on Twitter. He's not on OnlyFans. He probably don't even know what that is.
What's OnlyFans?
Yeah, what's OnlyFans? I bet you know what. Do you know what Tinder is?
Just make sure not about. You know,
well, he's not on that either. He's on Twitter, on Instagram, and he's on the United Stand. It's been a pleasure having you on, Paul. Really enjoyed it, and I hope you have a good day and rest of the week.
Cheers, Marky. Speak to you on Thursday. Take care.
Yeah, we'll do, mate.
Cheers, guys. Bye, mate.